I'm a big believer in, like I do believe things are changing. Um, I do believe that it's not as it's sold to you over the media, or some of these groups are trying to provide the narrative for you to believe. I don't believe in some of that kind of stuff, but what I do believe is we are getting a change in weather. We're getting, and that's what's that a result of? I'm not sure. Probably us, but you know what? There's a huge change in our local environments here, and that's because we are managing our lands different. We are taking up more space with houses and cities and such. We are manipulating absolutely everything we can within our environment, and that in itself is directly influencing what's happening on these hives. And that is the exact point I'm trying to get across. Is it's not this huge grandioso uh, change that we have to address. We got to address the problem at the bottom and work our way up. We got to address the problem of losing all our natural places. We have to address the problem of covering all this land with concrete. We have to address the problem of losing trees, um, and farming. Farming is under huge pressure to deliver and production. We are a grain farm, and we fall victim of the exact same thing as dollars and cents. We do a really good job, but at the same time, we have all this technology at our fingertips right now that we are achieving absolute brilliance. We just pulled off an 80 bushel crop of wheat. We just pulled off a 150 bushel crop of oats. The wheat weighed up at 67 pounds. The oats weighed up at 47 pounds. That is huge. A canola crop of 50 bushels an acre. Um, we have a silage crop that's 12 feet tall with cobs on it. It's going to give us, if we'd combine that according to the math, we haven't got into it yet, 180 bushel. We're on top of the escarpment here with 2,000, 2,200 heat units. Our breeding, our plant breeding, our ability to um, control disease, control weeds, control pests, we're able to manipulate our crops to produce absolute brilliance. And it's an amazing thing. And it's really beneficial to our farm, and we're making a lot of money at it. But on the flip side of that, we're not making mistakes anymore. So the change in all this landscape to agriculture, before we'd make mistakes, we would have that natural diversity reappear because it's an overwhelming force forward. And that allowed our hives to survive. That allowed insects and other native pollinators a place to feed on. But we aren't making mistakes anymore. So we have no place for these guys to find that diversity anymore except for the field edges and the natural places around. So this is the point I'm trying to make, that as agriculture progresses, we have to promote that, we have to support that, because we all have to eat. This is what we set up, this is the systems we set up, and we're moving it forward, and we're doing exactly what society wants us to do. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge that everything else has to survive, everything else has to exist. So we can dedicate areas to agriculture, but we also at the same time have to look at the native areas we need to preserve. Bushlands, uh, wetlands, riparian areas, just little things like that. We have on a grid, every mile road, we have ditch. We should be promoting diversity within our ditches. This is a perfect place to do it. Just a place for my bees to be able to find some nourishment. Agriculture has moved on. It's being supported with industry and everything else. And beekeepers, a very important part of agriculture, the honeybees have been left behind. We've kind of been forgotten. We still provide a huge resource to the agricultural community. We rely so much on the natural world. And as agriculture moved ahead and is kind of manipulating all those natural aspects, we can't do that. We haven't been able to do that. So all I'm trying to say is, on my little rant here, is we as beekeepers are completely out of control. We manipulate these hives the best we can, but we are influenced with everything else around us, and half the time we don't know what's going on. we need help from society. We need help from agriculture, from everybody around us to acknowledge the issue and help us address it, and maybe support us a little bit. Support the association, support our research projects, support these initiatives which try to preserve wetlands, and these little acts of effort that try to bring in the diversity that we've kind of lost a little bit. All these things mean a lot to us, and all beekeepers are asking is just a little bit of support.